In this video, I am going to explain how to group files by their names using LINQ in UiPath and to combine the Excel file details into one Excel sheet which have same names. So here there are some Excel files which consist of some data and some Excel files names are same, like its batch number means starting number is same for 3 Excel files and 2 Excel files. So I need to get a final Excel file in which it will store in this format, like the details of the Excel files having the same batch number in the name in one Excel sheet, like that. So we will, in the final Excel file, we will get 3 Excel sheets having same batch number details. So 10905, there are 2 Excel files, so we need to merge it into one Excel sheet of the final Excel, to the final Excel. So we need to group files using LINQ. So let's create a process to group the files with the same group files which have the same batch number in the name of that Excel files. So let's create a process. So here we use LINQ to group the Excel files having same batch number in their names into one Excel sheet of the final Excel file. So let's start to create the process. So first we need to get the path of the folder where the Excel files are stored. So let's assign the path of the folder into a variable. So I'm assigning the folder path into a variable str folder path. Now we need to store the path of each Excel files in that folder into an array. So let's create an array to store the Excel paths. So I have created array Excel. So now its type will be string. So we need to change it to array of strings. So to get every file path of the folder, we need to use Directory.GetFiles of the folder from which we need to get. So it's stored in the str folder path. So let's debug the code. So the array Excel will consist of the path of every Excels in the str folder path variable in that from that folder. So you can see this array consists of 6 strings, the 6 Excel files path. Now I need to group each Excel files which path is stored in this array Excel regarding their names. Means I need to group the files regarding their names. Means which all contains that same batch number will be in one group. So for that we are using LINQ and we are adding it in assign activity. So it's like we are adding it to a dictionary where the key will be the same batches and the value will be the path of Excels which contain the batch. So I have created dictionary of where the key will be string and we know value will consist of the path. So it will be stored in array of strings. So array excel dot group by of function of path dot, we need to get that file names right. So path dot get file name without extension of the function split underscore. Means in that Excel files have the name like the batch number underscore some another value. So we only need that batch number, right? So that's why we are splitting. And of 0 means after splitting we will get the first value. Means we will consider the first string before that underscore to dictionary. G dot key function G2 array. So here we are grouping the files by getting the file batch number from the file name by using split, and we are adding the batch number and the values, means the path of the files as values and the batch number as the key into a dictionary. So let's debug the code. So the dictionary consists of keys as the batch number, and the values consist of arrays of the path of the files having the batch number in their names. So dictionary consists of three values, like the batch number as the keys and corresponding values as arrays of the file path having the same batch number in their names. So currently we have grouped the files regarding their names. Now we need to add the details of the each files into a final Excel, as each Excel sheet consists of the details of file having the same batch number in their names. So for each group, each group of the dictionary, means each value, each group of dictionary, each group which stored in the dictionary, for each values of the group, so the group value consists of files paths, right? So for each files in that array of that group values, means the dictionary values, means it's array. So files stored in the array, for each files we need to get the file name, right, to get the batch number. So let's store the file name into a variable. So I'm storing because that we use in the final Excel sheet, right? Final Excel to give the sheet name, that batch number, right? So for that we need to find the file names. So path dot get file name without extension of the files. And let's see. So currently this consists of the entire file name, but we only require the batch number from the file, means the string before the underscore from the name, right? Like 100904 only. So we can use split to split the string and only take the value which is before that underscore. So we can use another variable to store the batch number only. So let's assign the batch number only to another variable. So here I'm adding it to final file sheet variable. So we use split to get only the batch number from that entire file name. So here file sheet consists of the entire file name dot split of we only need the batch number which is before the underscore. So let's debug the code. So I have added breakpoint, so let's remove that. So we can see that in the output panel it's showing the entire file name and the batch number from that file name, so which we have added in the log message, the file name and the batch name from that file name. So now we need to add to final Excel sheet. So let's use read range workbook to read each files. So it will read each files of the array storing the value for the each groups. So let's store the values in a data table, DTXL. And currently we need to append the values, right? So for that we can mention index for each values in the array, means the group values, which means the array in which we have stored the files. So let's give a condition like if index is equal to 0. Index is equal to 0 means for that array we only consider the first value. So if the index is 0 means for that first value it will enter to the if. So if we have large data, if we merge it will be some issue. So we can append the data table to the Excel. So for first value, for the first file of the group, we will write range. We will use write range and write the data to the Excel. So for that we have used if index is equal to 0. Index is equal to 0 means the first index of that array is, if it's 0 then it will enter to the then part and will write the data table to the Excel. So I'm creating an Excel, final report Excel. So sheet name, we need the batch number, right? So it's stored in that final file sheet, means the batch number which we have taken from that file name. So we can give that, and the data table DTXLs which we have read from the file. So in the else part we will append, means so first the first file, it will read the first file data and it will create a data table. It will add to an Excel. It will write to an Excel, and for other files it will just append the values to that data table, to that Excel. So append range workbook. DTXL. It's showing error. Oh, sorry, I have given dictionary. So the data table is DTXL. So let's give that. Now let's run debug the code. We can see the final report, whether the final report is created. So it's showing some error. The sheet does not exist. So I think I have given wrong sheet name. So let's check. So it's sheet 1, but I think I have given the batch number as the sheet name, so let's change that. Okay, now let's debug, run the code. So the bot is running. So, okay, so let's see the final report, final Excel. So it's not showing. Okay, there is this final report. So let's take that. Yeah, it's fine, but the header is missing because we have enabled the add heading, but the data is correct for a batch number in different sheets, and the details of stored in the files is stored in the batch in the file sheets having the same batch number. So let's add header and run again. In the right range. Let's delete the report and run again. Okay, so now let's check the final report. So it's successful. We are getting the details of each file in one sheet having the same batch ID. So it's successful. So using LINQ we have grouped the files based on their batch ID from the names of that files, and we stored it in a final Excel. So you can see this 10904 have 3 details, 3 files having 1 detail in each Excel. So it's stored in the final sheet. In one sheet Sneha Sundar Devu, and like same in for other files. So we have grouped the files based on their names and added as the batch name as the key of the dictionary and the file paths as array as the dictionary value using LINQ. So for each group, for each value, means value consists of arrays of values. So for each values in that array, each path files. So here we have stored as dictionary, in which we know dictionary have a key and values. So we have used LINQ to create a dictionary having the key as the batch IDs, batch numbers, which we have retrieved from the names and the files, means batch number as 100904, 100905, 100906, and the files having the batch number in their names as an array we stored in the values of dictionary for each keys. Means for 100904 it will consist of the details of the file which have the details of Sneha, Sundar, Devu, like that. So we have created a dictionary having batch number as the key and the files having the batch number in their names, the path of the files as the as array and stored in value for each key using LINQ. So this is the expression, LINQ expression we use it to store. Means for each Excels we have grouped it by their batch number which we get from their name by splitting using underscore and the value before the underscore, that is batch number, and we are adding to the dictionary as the batch number as the key and the path of the files into an array as value. For more videos, subscribe and follow. Thank you.